Have you ever wondered why some people walk through life with an unshakable calm, while others are tossed about like leaves in every wind that blows? Why certain individuals seem to carry within themselves a quiet strength that no storm can disturb, no criticism can wound, no loss can diminish? These are not people born with special gifts or blessed by the heavens above others. They are those who have made a choice that most fear to make, the choice to honor themselves above all else. But when I speak of choosing yourself, I do not mean the selfish pursuit of pleasure or the arrogant elevation of your desires above duty. That is not choice. That is chaos. True self-choosing is something far more profound, far more demanding. It is the decision to live according to the moral law that dwells within your heart, regardless of what the world expects, demands, or threatens. It is the courage to be guided by righteousness even when others call you foolish. It is the wisdom to know that your character matters more than your reputation, your integrity more than your comfort. Most people live their entire lives without making this choice. They bend like bamboo in every breeze, agreeing when they should speak truth, remaining silent when they should act, pursuing what brings approval rather than what brings peace. They measure their worth by the opinions of others, their success by external achievements, their happiness by circumstances beyond their control. And in doing so, they lose the very thing they sought to protect, themselves. Confucius understood this deeply when he taught that the superior person is guided by what is right, while the small person is guided by what is profitable. This is not merely about money or material gain. It speaks to something much more fundamental, whether you live according to your inner compass or according to the shifting winds of external validation. Whether you choose the path of virtue even when it leads through difficulty, or the path of convenience even when it leads away from truth. Consider the farmer who tends his fields with care, season after season, regardless of whether his neighbors praise or mock his methods. He knows that the earth responds to patient cultivation, not to the opinions of spectators. His harvest depends not on applause, but on his faithfulness to the work itself. In the same way, when you choose yourself, your principles, your values, your authentic nature, you begin to cultivate something that no external force can touch or take away. But this choosing is not a single moment of decision. It is a daily practice, a constant returning to what you know to be true and right within yourself. Every morning you wake, you face the choice anew. Will you speak your truth today, or will you tell others what they wish to hear? Will you act according to your conscience or according to fear? Will you honor your commitments to yourself, or will you abandon them the moment they become inconvenient? The world will test this choice constantly. Friends may distance themselves when you no longer play the role they assign to you. Family members may express disappointment when you stop sacrificing your peace for their expectations. Colleagues may question your motives when you refuse to compromise your values for advancement. And in those moments, you will feel the weight of standing alone, the discomfort of being misunderstood, the pain of disappointing those you love. This is where most people turn back. They convince themselves that harmony with others is more important than harmony within themselves. They believe that keeping peace externally is worth sacrificing peace internally. But what kind of peace is built on the foundation of self-betrayal? What kind of love requires you to become someone you are not? What kind of success demands that you abandon your own heart? The ancient sages knew that true harmony can only emerge when each person first finds harmony within themselves. A kingdom cannot be peaceful if the ruler's heart is in turmoil. A family cannot flourish if each member lives in conflict with their own nature. A person cannot contribute to the world's good if they have not first cultivated goodness within themselves. When you finally choose yourself, not from pride, but from wisdom, not from selfishness, but from understanding, something remarkable begins to happen. The constant noise of external opinions grows quieter. The urgent demands of others lose their power to disturb your center. You begin to move through life not as one who reacts to every circumstance, but as one who responds from a place of deep knowing. This does not mean you become indifferent to others or neglectful of your duties. Quite the opposite. When you are firmly rooted in your own truth, you have something genuine to offer the world. Your words carry weight because they emerge from conviction rather than calculation. Your actions have power because they flow from principle rather than pressure. Your presence brings calm because you are no longer at war with yourself. People sense this transformation even when they cannot name it. They feel the difference between someone who lives from their center and someone who lives from their circumference. The person who has chosen themselves radiates a quiet authority that requires no announcement, no defense, no justification. They simply are who they are, and that authenticity becomes a light that illuminates the path for others. But the journey to this place of self-choosing is neither easy nor swift. It requires the cultivation of virtues that our hurried world often dismisses as old-fashioned or impractical. It demands the development of inner strength that can withstand the storms of criticism and misunderstanding. It calls for the wisdom to distinguish between what serves your highest good and what merely serves your immediate desires. This is where we must look deeper into what it truly means to choose yourself in the way that brings not just personal peace, but contributes to the harmony of all. The cultivation of such virtue begins with understanding the difference between what appears to serve you and what truly nourishes your spirit. The merchant who seeks only profit may fill his storehouse with gold, yet find his heart empty at the day's end. The student who memorizes words without comprehending their meaning may impress his teachers, yet remain ignorant of wisdom's true nature. In the same way, choosing yourself without understanding the moral foundation upon which this choice must rest leads not to freedom, but to another form of bondage. Confucius taught that the gentleman seeks to perfect his virtue, while the small man seeks only to perfect his comfort. When you choose yourself in the truest sense, you are not choosing ease or pleasure or the path that requires least effort. You are choosing to become worthy of the trust that heaven has placed in your keeping. You are choosing to honor the moral nature that distinguishes human beings from the beasts of the field. This moral nature reveals itself in how you treat those who cannot reward you, how you speak when no one of importance is listening, how you act when no observer can praise or blame your conduct. The tree that grows straight does so not because others admire its form, but because it follows the natural law written in its very essence. When you align your choices with the righteousness that dwells within your heart, you become like that tree, growing according to your truest nature rather than bending toward whatever light promises immediate warmth. But here lies a great difficulty that every person must face. The world around you often rewards behavior that contradicts this inner righteousness. The courtier who flatters his ruler with false praise may receive advancement, while the honest minister who speaks difficult truths may find himself cast out. The merchant who deceives his customers may prosper for a season, while his honest competitor struggles to make ends meet. The child who manipulates his parents' emotions may receive more attention than the one who shows genuine filial respect. These apparent contradictions test the depth of your commitment to choosing yourself in the way of virtue. It is easy to speak of principles when following them brings reward. The true measure of character reveals itself when righteousness demands sacrifice, when truth costs you relationships, when integrity requires you to walk alone for a time. In these moments, you discover whether your choice to honor yourself was rooted in wisdom or merely in another form of self-seeking. The master understood that such tests are not obstacles to overcome, but opportunities to strengthen the very foundations of character. Just as the blacksmith's hammer does not seek to destroy the iron, but to shape it into something useful and beautiful, so do difficulties serve to forge within you the strength needed to remain true to your highest nature. Each time you choose what is right over what is easy, each time you speak truth despite the consequences, each time you act with integrity when no one would know the difference, you add another layer to the armor of virtue that protects your spirit. This armor is not hard and cold like metal, but warm and flexible like silk that has been woven with care. It does not make you insensitive to others' pain or indifferent to their needs. Rather, it allows you to respond to life's challenges from a place of strength rather than react from a place of weakness. When someone speaks harshly to you, you can choose whether to respond with equal harshness or to answer with the gentleness that demonstrates your inner cultivation. When circumstances turn against your plans, you can choose whether to rage against what cannot be changed or to adapt with the wisdom that sees opportunity within difficulty. The person who has truly chosen themselves in this manner becomes like a mountain that remains unmoved by storms, yet provides shelter for all who seek refuge in its shadow. They offer stability to those around them, not through rigid inflexibility, but through the deep-rootedness that comes from knowing who they are and what they stand for. Their presence brings peace, not because they avoid conflict, but because they have found peace within themselves first. This inner peace radiates outward in ways both subtle and profound. The ruler who governs his own heart with justice finds that his kingdom naturally tends toward order. The father who disciplines his own desires with wisdom raises children who understand the beauty of self-control. The teacher who has mastered his own learning creates students hungry for true knowledge. The friend who has learned to be honest with himself becomes someone others trust with their deepest concerns. Yet this transformation does not happen overnight, nor does it occur without constant vigilance and renewed commitment. Each dawn brings fresh opportunities to choose between the path of virtue and the path of convenience. Each interaction with another person presents a chance to act from your highest nature or to descend to the level of petty self-interest. Each moment of solitude offers the choice between honest self-examination and comfortable self-deception. The wise person understands that choosing yourself truly means choosing to become the person that heaven intended you to be, not the person that society rewards, not the person that others expect, but the person whose character reflects the moral order that underlies all creation. This is the path that lies before you, not a destination to reach, but a way to walk each day with purpose and dignity. When you choose yourself through virtue rather than vanity, through righteousness rather than convenience, you join the ranks of those who have discovered life's greatest secret, that true freedom comes not from having your way in all things, but from aligning your way with what is eternally right. The mountain stands firm, not because it resists the wind, but because it has found its proper place between earth and sky. So too will you find your strength when you root yourself in virtue and reach toward wisdom, becoming someone the world can depend upon precisely because you have learned to depend upon what is good within yourself.